Good morning to all. It's with great honor that I welcome you all, visitors and members, to 10, the Entrepreneurs Network. I trust you are comfortable and ready to begin today's meeting. I'm Rahul Amrute, Chairman, shoulder the responsibility of the current tenure. In my task, I'm ably supported by Manoj Tehliani, the Secretary, Mangesh Patole, the Relationship Manager, and Ram Kumar, who manages social media promotions. 10, the Entrepreneurs Network is a not-for-profit organization. The single-minded focus of 10 is to help entrepreneurs from different business fields to come together and succeed. So now I would like to talk about today's agenda. Today we have two new members who have joined 10, and they will be sharing with us their nature of business, their activities, their challenges, their scope of business, and other aspects. So the first member, I will briefly introduce both of them. The first member is Sumo Banerjee. He is the founder of Creta Consulting with his core focus on brand premiumization. Our next member is Anuraj Bhandarkar, founder of Krisi Care Technical Services Private Limited, who is into end-to-end solutions for electronic security security systems like CCTV, access control, intrusion alarms, etc. So I would now kindly request Sumo to begin his presentation. Yes, Sumo.
So, Sumo, just a second, Raut, with your kind permission, I'd like to pay the AV because we have two visitors.
Oh, sir. Yeah. I missed it. Sorry. So post the AV, Sumo, you can begin.
Yeah.
Rahul, can you see the screen?
Yeah, very much.
Maharashtra's major industrial town, fastest growing and slated to be the most happening commercial hub. Over the last decade, Thane has grown from a small suburban town to a large self-sustaining metropolis. Proximity to the financial capital of the country has extended ample opportunities to Thane for becoming the richest district in Maharashtra, with potent factors like well-planned infrastructure and low cost of operation. With growing opportunities and upcoming business ventures comes the growing need for business networking to learn, to explore, to connect, and to share avenues for mutual growth. Welcome to the Entrepreneurs Network, popularly known as 10. Established in 2010 with the intent of providing a platform for entrepreneurs to share their experience, to learn, and to educate fellow entrepreneurs, along with generating business opportunities for mutual growth. Our motto: connect, breakthrough, and prosper.
In 2009, basically, I was totally confined to the four walls of my own retail outlet. Probably that time I was feeling the need to get out of those binded four walls. So there was a business networking group. I joined that, and after 1.5 years, basically there was some disconnect with that particular group. So we wanted to start something which was more Indianized. We wanted to do something to build a community of entrepreneurs. And in 2010, we started this 10 Entrepreneurs Network.
10 is a close-knit community of different business verticals across industries.
10 ने मुझे अभी जो फ़ायदा मिला है, काफ़ी फ़ायदा मिला है. बिजनेस अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ भी मुझे काफ़ी मिली है 2009 से. ग्रोथ काफ़ी हुआ है.
I love 10 as a network because it is very different from the other business networks what you see, and it has helped me a lot in my overall development for my business, for my relations.
And what I found, people around us are all wanted to grow in their business and help the society around. And I am so happy to join the 10.
After coming here, I found a different friendship, a different support system.
10 members contribute connections, ideas, and time to help 10 grow. Members are rewarded with training workshops, insights, network, and camaraderie offered by other like-minded entrepreneurs. They meet alternate Wednesdays from 7:15 a.m. to 9:45 a.m.
What I liked about 10 is more of a kind of a learning platform. So I learned a lot from 10 from through different sessions, different workshops.
What I like about 10 is core functionality, which is continuous learning for entrepreneurs. That is, we can say it is a core function of 10 on which it operates.
10 has been extremely beneficial to me in enhancing my personality and making me equipped to face the challenges as an entrepreneur.
Connecting, breakthrough and prosper, which is the mantra of 10, is something which I was seeking for in my business career.
10 conducts activities such as 10 Connect session, open minds, outdoor meetings, and annual conclave. 10 Connect session provides a robust platform to its members for learning and sharing experiences, one-on-one interaction, apart from addresses by internal and esteemed guest speakers. 10 Engagement also extends to events such as Open Minds, where established entrepreneurs and business owners are invited to share their life lessons and growth stories while interacting with live audience. It's an event that Thaneites eagerly wait for. Outdoor meetings are fun coupled with learning. It aims at increasing member bonding and interactions beyond regular meetings. It includes site visits, visiting fellow members' workplace, and short outings which are extremely high on fun quotient.
Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, they are exactly following that. That really brings me to here.
Since inception, 10 members have transacted more than 275 crores of business with its members and connects beyond 10 as we move ahead in this path of connecting for mutual growth. We look forward to more heads, more hands, and more hearts to come together. We welcome you to attend the 10 Connect session, to experience entrepreneurial energy, creativity, and motivation.
Let's give our classic 10 clap to 10, which goes 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 twice.
10. The Entrepreneurs Network. Connect, breakthrough, prosper.
Yeah. Over to you, Sumo.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, before I start, let me say something that I'm a technical person. Okay, I'm not really that kind of businessman, entrepreneur, etc., etc. I know I have done my entire life only in one thing, which is different types of communications and their planning. And in 2016, when I had some needs in the family, I had to start, something on my own so that I could maintain my freedom. My mother was very sick, and I needed to go to that place whenever the need arose. Is chakkar, I was always a very cynical person about consulting. I used to say that consulting is what you do in between two jobs. And imagine, I ended up becoming a consultant. Kannan, there is no curtain behind, so I can't help that. I will try to block it. Okay, so now the issue is what I am presenting is what I have been doing, and I have made that as my entrepreneurial journey. यानी कुछ नया हाथी घोड़ा बहुत कुछ सुझा नहीं है. जो मैं हमेशा करता था वही मैं करके अपना गुजारा करने का कोशिश करता था. Okay? So whatever you see, I will just talk about exactly what I do. Okay? And not my vision, nothing. I don't have any vision. I don't have any plan. I don't know how to make a plan also for myself. Okay. So whatever I am going to show is exactly what I do with my own hands. So everybody can see my screen, right?
Yes, yes.
Now, this is the, in the beginning, I want to tell everybody that my consulting means I myself. There is no team, nothing. I cannot clone myself. I cannot hire somebody with my experience or my expertise. So I'll have to work alone. Okay? Now, anybody whosoever hires me, I work with his team, with his suppliers. Okay? And my entire work is around increasing the premium on a product or a service. I'll get to the more of it. This is my journey so far. I started my career in 1994 with media planning. I was with a company called Trikaya Gray. Up to 97, I was only doing media planning and brand communication planning. From there, I moved up and I joined client servicing, and along with that, I was doing brand communication planning. Thereafter, I picked up marketing planning. So that's what I did. Again, brand communication planning. Up to 2015, it was brand communication planning, digital planning, and planning of shopper marketing. Whatever I learned in those years, I made it my profession after 2015. So 2016 to 2021, I am doing brand communication consulting and organic digital consulting, which is completely content driven, which is completely free from marketing budget. Now, this is what was one day shared, right, on our group. So this thing was posted, and somebody made a comment that the elevator pitch is also a bore nowadays. Okay. Now, I have something interesting to observe with that. I will give you this formula. This formula will tell you exactly how to write an elevator speech, and because of which, it will always be interesting to people. Okay. Now, my name is so-and-so. I work for so-and-so company with such a designation for target customers. Elevator speech is always given to either a prospective customer or a prospective investor. So they are interested in knowing who are your customers. And then the formula comes, our company manufactures so-and-so product, which gives this kind of customer benefit. And we are different in a way that competitive advantage, whatever we have, comes into picture. So I request you to give me some time to present how we do what we do. Here is my visiting card. Please do visit our website in the meantime to know more about this. So whatever was this Elon Musk was saying, that explain it to me in 7 seconds or I am out of this place. It's actually, the elevator speech is meant for that only. Okay. But the moment you get him with this target customers, he gives you not 7 seconds, but maybe 7 minutes he will give. Okay. I'm giving an example of my own company. Okay, so this is the formula. So what would I say? My name is Sumo Banerjee. I'm a brand premiumization consultant based in Thane, because I am not mentioning my company. For MSMEs, trying to make it big, not any MSMEs, my consulting helps sell products and services at a better price using precise communication. My service is different in the way that my clients won't require to alter their core product or service. This is how my service is different from somebody else. Sir, I request you to give me some time to present how do I do what I do. Here is my visiting card. Please do visit my website to see more about brand premiumization. Now, why did I talk about this? Because this is how premiumization is done. This is completely formula-driven exercise. Okay. A brand is nothing but a perception, and perception is built through communication. Now, that perception building is positioning, and entire brand premiumization is change in positioning. Okay. Coming to what positioning actually I mean. We have all seen different products at different levels. Imagine these drawers. So value for money, that means cheap products, mass products, sub-premium brands, premium brands, and super premium brands. Each one of them have different core target customer, different core products, different prices, different sales, and everything different competition. Every layer has different things, different sets, different market size, different importance for the bottom line, and different brand managers. Why brand managers is also part of it? Because somebody understands VFM doesn't guarantee that he will understand super premium. Somebody understands mass product doesn't mean that he will understand premium. And there also, the difference even comes from the brand managers. Now, moving things up is premiumization. Moving things down is, you can say, commoditization, okay, or going mass. That's a better way of saying that, saying the same thing, that I'm going back down the value chain. Okay. Now, this is something, 2 snapshots I took from Google. Okay. In one, Titan company, the market capitalization is like 1.29 lakh crores, and Rolex brand was valued at 7.8 billion US dollars. Okay. What it means that owning Titan as a company is better than owning Rolex, but as a consumer, wearing Rolex is better than wearing Titan. Now imagine here what happened. We are saying different importance for the bottom line. So what we see as premium product, and if we think that everything happens here, all the products have to go up here, that's not the case. You are probably moving just a notch above this. That is also premiumization. You are moving from mass to sub-premium. That is also premiumization. Okay. And everything is, it depends on from which perspective you are seeing a brand. Now, here is an example of Nescafe. We all know Nescafe, right? So Nescafe at a VFM level, cheap products level, you have Sunrise, which is Nescafe and chicory. 3-in-1, which is Nescafe, milk and sugar. 2-in-1, which is Nescafe, coffee and sugar. Then you have Nescafe Classic Cappuccino. On top of that, you have Nescafe Gold. Even there, Black Gold, Cap Colombic, Tinjar, and Super Premium, we have a different brand altogether. Okay. Now, this is what happened in our country. Baleno in 2002 was a premium sedan. And today, Baleno has come down. So it was easy for them. But when Indica tried to do that, when Indigo tried to do that, they failed. Going up may not be easy at all. Coming down becomes easy, but that doesn't mean that coming down is profitable. Today's Baleno is not profitable to Suzuki, but yesterday's Baleno was very profitable to Suzuki. It was a global brand. Today's Baleno is a local brand. Okay. Look at iPhones and Samsung. Samsung has products at high end as well as low end, but perception wise, it remains like a mass brand. Whereas iPhone has a cheap product called AC, but its image did not come down. Okay, so there is some kind of titration that is happening. This titration is the ability of adjusting the image with the price and the ability to take bold steps. These are the two important factors for brand premiumization. And any company or any brand that wants to premiumize need to have these two abilities. Let me explain further. The market either refuses the image or refuses the price. So they will say, oh, your image is too hi-fi and it's not believable. Or, oh, your price is too much. I don't find it justified to pay that price. In brand premiumization, this titration is done. So I will show you exact trick that happens. Remember one thing, today brand building is more about finding opportunities than solving consumers' problem. पहले क्या बोलते थे कि what problem does this brand solve? Today इतने सारे brands है, इतने सारे players है, there is no gap in the market. You will have to only think about where is an opportunity for your brand. So the trick that is used in brand premiumization is this. Imagine you have a mass product which has to go up, which has to get premiumized. So at step 1, you pick the image almost at a sub-premium level and you increase the price a little bit. Step 2, you take the image farther up and you increase your price a little bit more. I'm not saying that there are only 2 steps. There could be 3 steps, there could be 4 steps. And just like in stock market analysis, there is a resistance and there is a support. So a market does not allow a particular brand to become too premium. Then you need a new brand. You have seen what happened with WagonR. WagonR has introduced a variant, the one that Ram owns. That one is like premiumization of WagonR. But do you think any day WagonR can become a premium brand? No. Nobody will accept it. For that, Maruti will have to introduce a new brand. And same thing happens with commoditization. They're going down the value chain. After some time, people will not accept some product which is a mass or sub-premium level to become too cheap. It is very difficult. Nescafe for a long time did not mention Nescafe Sunrise. It just used to write Sunrise. Later on, through a massive exercise, they started mentioning that it is Nescafe Sunrise because they're always worried that Sunrise will dilute the brand Nescafe. So here now you can imagine the kind of challenge that is there in my job, that you don't know what is going to work and how many steps are there. You don't know how far you can take a particular brand. You don't know what kind of price will be acceptable, but you'll have to try and see how the market reacts. You'll have to go through lots and lots of experiments. And then you will see, oh, lovely. Now I have a situation where the image gives me solid profitability. Maybe it did not come in first attempt. Maybe it shrank the market. Maybe it shrank the opportunity. Consumers rejected it. First client I had in Bombay as a client, the name of the company was Manik Financial. They had a problem that they had 300 very conservative Hindu undivided families as their clients. And they simply rejected their premium imageries, which I had developed for them. The decision makers were not interested in talking to Manik for those things. So what happened? Manik addressed their younger generation. So the same person who was Manik's client, Manik was not talking to him. Manik was talking to his son. When the son got converted, even the father, the oldie, got converted. So it happened, there was false start, etc. But today, where is Manik Financial? Today, Manik Financial doesn't need to advertise. It doesn't need to do any kind of promotion. Its hands are full throughout the year. Even when everything was locked down, Manik Financial was 100%, 200% busy with work. Clients were coming to them because they were in trouble. But it took almost 3 years to reach that level. Now, you can imagine why such a convoluted presentation I had to write so that I could explain you what do I do. Now see this. This is absolute guarantee from my side. I can change the profitability of any business. जो मैंने सीखा है, जो मेरे को मेरा सीनियर्स ने इतने सालों में सिखाया है, if I use, it will change. But the owner must teach me his business very well. Kuch, I will hold it in my hand. I will only give one part of the brief. Usse nahi hoga. If the owner thinks along with me, it's not like Sumo को दे दिया, outsource कर दिया, वो कर लेगा, अभी वापस आके मेरे को बहुत सारे पैसे मिल जाए. That is not the case. If the owner decides to work with me, Manik Financial's owner, his name is Sunesh Dedia. He actually sat with me, and one day after almost 2 years, he was telling me, Sumo, तुमने मुझे चूना लगाया. मैं बोला क्यों? तो बोला कि मेरे से सब सीख के मेरे को आके बोला. But the thing is exactly that. I must understand your business as well as you do before I can tell you that what is the way to premiumize your products and services. And the owner has to be truly ambitious. आजकल क्या होता है कि लोग ना people are not really ambitious. They have a dream. Ambition means having a plan. In this case, people are just dream. Then no, अच्छा ऐसा कुछ करेंगे, consultant hire कर लेंगे, थोड़ा marketing कर लेंगे, and will become a very profitable company. ऐसा करके नहीं होता है. You have to work very much, very hard. Okay. And if the owner is ready to take his eyes off immediate funding and immediate sales, brand premiumization does not give any kind of results immediately. ये step by step एक-एक करके ईंट लगाना पड़ता है. Brick by brick you'll have to build, and then once it is done, it is very sustainable. You will not need Sumo Banerjee, you will not need any consultant, because by the time you have become Kalia from Kallu, you will be able to run your own business that way. Now, you saw how elevator speech is written. It's a formula. there are exactly 17 formulae that needs to be implemented. Once you implement that, your company has cracked the marketing. And marketing is the only thing that will improve your profitability. बाकी सब जो sales management है and everything, those are all short-term measures. It is not sustainable. This is one very, very important thing. To do this kind of brand innovation, you don't need to be rich. The company doesn't need to be very rich. You need to be extremely cunning. You need to sniff opportunities. I told you that, brand premiumization is not about solving problems. It is about sniffing opportunities in the market. Once you understand, okay, this is a scenario, in this scenario, this thing will probably work. And then you just need to plan the work. You need to implement the work and you need to measure the outcome. Okay. So when such big grandiose things happen, what are the deliverables? 17 key formula. Emotional benefit of the umbrella brand. Emotional benefit of each product. Rational benefit of each product. Key consumer insight. Do you think everybody knows key consumer insight? No. Sunesh Dedia did not know his key consumer insight. He couldn't articulate. But when he was sharing everything with me, I understood this is a problem. This is what the insight is. And the whole company must know that this is what we are trying to solve. Then everything has a consumer tension. Consumer has some problem in life, right? Something because of which he is looking at a brand to solve his life problem. Whether you can identify that. You need to define what is the role of the product. And you'll have to lay down a cornerstone of the communication zone. The communication will be based on this and not anything else. Then comes elevator speech. रास्ते में कोई कहीं पर मिल गया या तो फिर मेरे को अचानक खड़े होकर कहीं पर भाषण देना पड़ा, मैं क्या बोलेगा? Somebody says, okay, introduce your company. Okay, who are you? May I have an introduction from you. What will you say? Will you that time try to formulate what you are going to write or what you are going to say? No. It has to be in your blood. Then brand positioning statement. If you don't understand whether sponsoring this particular event is good for your brand or not, how will you take a call? And for that, you need only one thing, which is brand positioning statement. Whether I should advertise in this journal or that journal, this particular website or that particular website, how will you decide? Everything is based on brand positioning statement. Then opinion leaders. We use opinion leaders, right? So we also say key opinion leaders, KOL. What will you tell the KOL? कि भैया तुमको मैं पैसा देता हूँ, तुम जाके मेरा बैंड बजाओ, मेरा ढिढोरा पीटो. No, sorry. You are that way you are just buying one brand ambassador kind of thing, like Amitabh Bachchan. You pay him some money and he goes and talks about anything. But that's not the case. Key opinion leader. Imagine if you are in healthcare. Will you be able to get that kind of support from a very specialized doctor? No, he will not put his stake his reputation in the market for the sake of just some cash from you. He will not do that. How will you inspire him? How will you motivate him? That message is very important. Then if you have a distribution channel, then distributors, how do you talk to distributors? Who is a distributor? Distributor is a person who finances your business, right? So distributor gives you money and he gives credit to the retailer. So how are you going to inspire the distributor? Can it be just like, acha bhaiya jaake tum aisa aisa karo? No, that's not the way. You'll have to treat him completely differently. Then what happens with your sales force? Unless and until your sales force is proud of doing what they are doing and genuinely proud, they will not put their heart and soul in it. And you will only get, sales management, idhar gaya tera target and all that kind of discussions. It's of no use. No company grows because of that. And what happens to the message, the finance, whosoever is funding the business? Then key message from the distributor to the retailer. Now this is not in your hand. Distributor tells the retailer कि भैया जाके तुम गोल्ड फ्लैग बेचो, Marlboro मत बेचो. Okay, because of which the retailer goes and sells gold flake and not Marlboro. How do you achieve it? There is no way you can control him. He controls you. And when you are face to face with the customer, how do you inspire the customer to try your product, to respect your company? Same thing, key message from the retailer to the customer. Ab retailer ke paas pahunch gaya. Now retailer only understands his profit. But somebody comes there and says, acha, which one should I take? Hellman's mayonnaise or Viva's mayonnaise? What will the retailer say? Retailer has both. Have you supplied that answer? Does he know how to say that? Or is he only going to remember, oh, okay, my profit margin on this thing is Viva is 15% and on Hellman is 13%. So I will sell Viva. That's not the case. People will say, oh, Hellman is owned by Unilever. This is a fantastic product. It's a multinational brand. I will suggest Hellman. That way, you need to control that also. And finally, obviously, we always write a tagline and we never understand how the tagline is written. What makes it, when somebody sees that I'm loving it, McDonald's tagline, what does he feel? Why is it like you are loving it? Why is it written like I am loving it? And how do you live up to that tagline? So tagline formulation is probably the most difficult part of communication. So this way you have 17 formula. If you can crack these 17 formula, or maybe everything you will not require, but suppose you take 10 of these and implement them through your company, in all your marketing and everything. बैठे बैठे माल बेचोगे और बैठे बैठे पैसा कमाओ. Other deliverables are, if you have a creative development team separate, some other designer, somebody writes, develops it. Consultant like me will write the brief for it. I'm not an advertising agency. I'm not a creative boutique. I'm a consultant for brand premiumization. I will write the brief and tell him, yeah, based on this, you please develop it, show it to me. If I like it, we'll implement it. Brief to the customer service team. Customer service is the company's face before the customer. That's the only thing. Nobody else interacts with them. So how should they behave? How should they talk? Then you have key visuals, then strategic content writing. उसमें बहुत कुछ आता है छोटा छोटा. Then digital communication plan, today it is becoming extremely important because these small, medium MSME companies, they cannot afford to go to mass media. It's too expensive. Now they will have to do all these big brand building only through some Facebook posts and some LinkedIn posts. What do? Only, आज रामनवमी है, आज चलो सबको बधाई देते हैं. Is that digital communication? No. How will you do that? What is that plan for it? That's something very serious work. And of course, website content writing. Nobody is bothered about how your office looks like, how your team looks like, nothing. People today go to your website. So what does your website talk? Now, every website, every designing, everything today is based on themes. Those are ready-made themes, $50, $60 available. Load karna, your website will look chamkila. That has become a hygiene factor. Beautiful website, beautiful layout is a hygiene factor. What is written in that decides everything. Somebody makes an black and golden fantastic design because he found such a design, he found such a style, he found something on FreePic, he found something on Shutterstock. Developed. लेकिन उसका जो इंग्लिश है वहां पर, the way you have written you have tried to make the consumer accept your brand is not up to the mark. Then what happens?
Yeah.
Then it's
Yeah,
a
Sumo. Sumo, just a minute. Sorry to interrupt. 5 to 7 minutes more. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll have to.
I'm on to.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Thank you.
That's one part where a major work is done these days. Website content writing and measuring techniques. When we talk about implementing all these things, we also need to be able to measure it, right? Whether it is working or not. Because if it is not working, then we'll change and we'll do something else. We'll do course correction. So that part is another important deliverable. And I also do 2 types of training because they are important for companies to go through a brand premiumization exercise. One is soft skills for sales team and the brand basics for employees. Employees must understand their company. Employees must understand their brand. Employees must talk to outsiders in a particular manner. Employees must think in a particular manner. Employees must behave in a particular manner. Only then people will say, oh, now you see a person of XYZ company and you know how they will be. So that is part of your brand premiumization exercise, and I do corporate trainings on that. Thank you for giving me this.
Yes, Sumo.
So this is what I do.
Thanks, Sumo, for the insights you gave us. It was very crisp and very clear to the point presentation. Thank you for that. I will kindly request now Anuraj to begin this presentation. Anuraj?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Team 10, for giving me this opportunity. So I'll begin my presentation with a brief introduction to my company. Just a sec, I'll share the profile. So I represent Crisis Care Technical Services Private Limited. We were formerly known as Master Microtech. We started as a proprietary firm back in 2014. Prior to that, I have experience in project management in the field of effluent management, then project management in various fields related to security systems and implementation.
Anuraj, sorry to interrupt you, but we are not able to see the screen.
Oh, okay. Just a second. I'll again start sharing. Is it visible now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay. So, hi everyone. I'm Anuraj Bandhavkar. I represent Crisiscare Technical Services Private Limited. Basically, Crisiscare is a acronym for Critical System Care. So basically, we believe in every security systems and IT systems are basically critical systems for every organization. So that is why we have named our organization as Crisiscare. We were formerly known as Master Microtech. We started as a proprietary firm back in 2014. After my stint of 5 years with various project management companies, I started with a company in the field of effluent treatment and water management system. Then I moved on to a project management company in the field of public and city smart city solutions. After that, I started my own firm, Master Microtech, and now we are a private limited company. So basically, I have always been associated with I had a passion for IT systems, electronic security systems. So basically, we offer solutions which are majorly into electronic security, IT networking, IoT-based solutions, and AI-based solutions. So our values basically is our reliability. We very well understand the today's digital age basically, and IT and security systems basically are the major systems without which none of the organization can work nowadays, as everyone knows. So basically, and we have a innovation. So basically, with every day there is a new technology coming up in the market. So we believe in evolving with the technology every day. So we accept the challenges and therefore evolve with the latest trend. Basically, we take care of the aesthetics when we do the projects. There are aesthetics according to the architects. Aesthetics plays a major role in any of the projects. So we have to consider those aesthetics, and accordingly we design a systems which can blend with the environment of the projects, which may be a commercial project or a residential project. So we suggest and we design a solution accordingly, which we will be a part of the aesthetics and which will blend into it. So these are our integrated solutions. We do video surveillance. We offer solutions in the video surveillance, that is CCTV systems, in IP analog systems. We have solutions in the home automation. We offer solutions in the access control systems, which can be biometric systems, face detection systems, RFID systems. Then in the RFID, we have solutions for the inventory management as well. So this is a new system which is now being used widely in the across all the sectors. Then we have metal detectors and scanners. Then we offer AV and video conferencing solutions. We have boom barriers and turnstile solutions for parking management, which and for the visitor management. Then intrusion alarm systems to prevent intrusions into basically secured areas such as banks, ATMs, where we offer intrusion alarms which can detect any intrusion in the vicinity and alerts the head offices immediately, or the concerned security management. Then we offer fire safety systems as well, in terms of fire detection, fire suppression systems. We offer GPS tracking for the vehicles, such as transport companies, fleet management also we do through that. We offer intercom systems like EPBX, IPBX systems. Then we have barcode systems, inventory management systems, traffic management systems. Then we offer IT networking, then NAS server storage for a larger infrastructure like big data. Then we have central monitoring systems, like we have we offer solutions to central monitoring systems like data centers or smart city solutions. Then of course we have repair and AMC services. So this is our wide product association. So these are all the brands we are associated with. So from Honeywell to these are the major brands which are the major players in the terms of security and IT systems. So most of you must be aware of these brands. These are some of our esteemed clienteles. So we have served with HPCL, CDSL. With their, we offer our services across pan-India base with major focus in Maharashtra, Gujarat, Goa. So basically, I'll come to some of our prestigious projects which we have done. So we have done Mumbai City Surveillance Project, that is CP Office Command Center in Crawford Market we have done. So this is a command center for CP Office. So where there are almost 6,500 cameras which are now being keeping an eye over Mumbai city, which are all being supervised from this command center. So basically, this we had done back in 2016-17, which was inaugurated by then Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis. And then I was, of course, being also was awarded as a for the best project management in that project as well. This is we have done a complete command center for a Navkar Corporation, which is a CFS major CFS company. So this from this command center, basically this company has a CFS terminals, almost 10 to 12 CFS terminals all over India, and of cameras of around 1,000 to 1,200 cameras, which are all being monitored from this command center. So here we had system partners who are Sequigen, BenQ, Dell. These are the major brands which we had used in integrating this command center. So here basically it is a 10-screen command center which is being operated by 3 operators. This is fully automated controls which were basically integrating their 10 locations into one command center, which needed a huge amount, huge bandwidth of network, so which we successfully did. And there was never a breakdown for a single day in this command center. So it is seamlessly they are monitoring all the locations. So this is a Canadian company based in Taloja. So it is basically a cold storage facility. So here we have integrated various systems, that is access control, IP CCTV systems, IT networking, IP PBX systems, intrusion alarm system, access points, Wi-Fi access points for the network. So these are basically a network setups how we have done there across in the facility. This is a CFS terminal based in Vapi, where we have done a CCTV IP based surveillance system. So here we are monitoring an area of almost 20 acres in a single command center. So here we are using PTZ cameras, which are the high range cameras, which can monitor an area up to around 1 to 2 kilometer area. So these are some of the projects we have done. This is for Pune and Mumbai, we have done CCTV surveillance. This is for DCB Bank in Pune, we have done their access control systems. For CDSL, their Mumbai head office, we have done access control systems. For HPCL also, we have done their access control and CCTV systems. This is our basically details. So I'll now come to another presentation. How we do a project feasibility in a project. So this is a project feasibility for a project we recently did. This is an industrial area basically. for a factory segment, how we go ahead.
Blank screen.
Oh, okay. Is it visible now, sir? Visible now, sir?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay. Able to see?
No. Aruna, just close all the PPT files and just restart it.
Okay. Able to see, sir, now?
No.
Okay. Just a second.
Yeah. Now we can see.
Yes. So basically, this is a feasibility report. How we recently we have completed a project for industries. Here we have completed a IP CCTV surveillance system. So basically, this is the scope of work. How we go ahead. Basically, in a project management, this is I want to explain here. So basically, here we start off with a design, supply, installation, integration of a system. To set up, basically our purpose is to set up a network of high resolution CCTV cameras along with AI based smart analytics for the purpose of high enhanced security surveillance and monitoring of the industrial facility and other crucial sectors of their industrial facilities. Basically, we had to build a robust and expandable LAN infrastructure basically before we install our CCTV system. So basically, it is not only implementation of CCTV surveillance system, but also with the LAN infrastructure, which we had to basically begin with. So here we had to integrate their existing old CCTV system along with a new CCTV system, and of course to broadcast it over to a command center based in their head office in Mumbai. So basically, the purpose of this security system was to reduce the dependency on personnel security, basically for the security personnel, and because there was a huge cost they were paying to maintain all these security personnels and guards which were there. So after implementation, of course, in just what they were having in just now at a 30% of now of the personnel, they are managing the whole facility. So we could reduce the number to now 30% of the original. And every now with that and all the facilities now are being monitored single-handedly through a command center based in Mumbai without much of a manual work there. And of course, with the top management also are able to now monitor the systems directly. So basically, how the project management goes here. So we have different feasibilities we have to consider before executing the work, which begin with the scope feasibility. So basically, requirement according to the site infrastructure, and then comes the technical feasibility, then in which we have to look for a technical specification based off as on the scope of the project. Then comes the design feasibility. We have to design a system according to the system industrial area. If it is an industrial area, then we have to consider a lot of aspects according to which we design the systems. Then quantitative feasibility, we have to design a BOQs according to the feasibilities we have done in the design stage. Then comes a commercial feasibility, of course, to evaluate the project costing according to the budget allocation. Then time feasibility, according to the scope of the work, we have to establish a time frame where we have to execute and hand over the project in a stipulated time. Resource feasibility, of course, when there are projects which are in a remote areas, like industries mostly are based in a remote areas, so where we have to have our labor material allocation in a very strict manner, and then in a very because we have to be on time, and we don't have to lose time in any of this project implementation. So execution feasibility, we have to give the best workmanship as well as the system quality. Performance feasibility, we have of course, after the integration of the system and implementation of system, we have to of course be assured with the output of the system. The performance should be the best as per we cannot say after 3 months the system goes down, so we have to give a guarantee of a system which will run seamlessly for over a period of time. So basically, feasibility, scope feasibility, it depends on the these points where we consider all these points designing the scope. So basically, elevated safety and security, multi-level surveillance, efficient personnel and vehicle identification. Basically, when we implement AI-based systems, there we can track personnel and vehicle identification using number plate recognition systems. We have to reduce dependency on any manual work, then improvise quality control and work efficiency, then technology adoption, then of course maximum surveillance of entire area. We cannot miss out any of the areas, and we have to cover all the blind spots, everything, so that there cannot be any intrusion happening in the facility. Then of course database collection, we have to consider of having a archive of the old database. So we cannot we have to keep a storage of around footages of up to around 6 months. So if any incident happens and the recordings have to be archived, we can have any recording for the till the past 6 months. Any protection against any legal complexities. There are in industrial areas, there are a lot of accident happens, there are a lot of fire mishaps happen. So all this can be covered in our surveillance systems, and all these records we can produce to any legal or police forces. We give them assistance in that in such accidents. Then minimization of the wastage, any theft or losses, and improvising accountability. Basically, our systems are used for the accountability purposes. So basically, how our phase wise we implement the systems. So here is just a presentation of how phase wise we go ahead with. So basically, there are we had implemented the systems in that particular industry in 4 phases. So we started with the factory phase, then we went on to a manufacturing sector, then logistics sector, then there was a residential sector for the laborers, and then RO plant, and then lastly we implemented the central and monitoring system at a head office in Mumbai. So considering the system and technical feasibility, we have to consider all these environmental and technical aspects. So like camera selection, network topology. Then in the recording, we have to have a recording software that is a so we have to consider a storage as well. So we can have a remote storage or a cloud storage, or we can have a NAS based storage systems, and then accessibility to that storage through a remote network. So when we come to a camera selection, there are all these technical factors which come into place, like resolution of the cameras, lens types. There are basically lens according to the distance of coverage in that particular area. Frame rate, basically what frame we are able to see. We cannot see a picture which is we have to have a seamless footage. We cannot see it in a frames like it is showing up as a images. So we have to have a we have to see it as a video, not as a images. So illumination, that is basically in the dark, in night time, how we can see the illumination of the cameras, which basically night vision of the cameras. Then image compression, how we can compress the images and the footages in a best possible compression, so that it will not take up much of the storage in the our storage capacity. For that, environmental factors also plays a major role. So if cameras are indoor or outdoor cameras, if what is the coverage, what is the view frame, what is the daylight exposure of the light, focus, their ease of maintenance for the cameras. Then network topology, basically network topology is network speed. Basically we know that speed is in a Mbps or Gbps, it is being measured. So number of cameras per node. So we have nodes basically for different sectors, you have different nodes. So data transmission and how the data will be transmitted and how fast you will be able to capture the video footage at our command center. So here the transmission distances matters, then infrastructure setup, ease of maintenance. Then recording systems, comes the recording system, which total number of cameras, how the topology we have implemented, period of archiving, if like client needs 3 months of a backup, 6 months of a backup, or a year of a backup. Then broadcasting of it, then basically after storage, we have to broadcast it to a user. So number of user plays a major role. Then how much, like there are like 3 users, 5 users, 10 users. So it will be according to the user, we have to design the system. Then infrastructure conditions, what we have. Then of course system security plays a major role. So we have to have a cyber security in place where the data cannot be hacked. So nobody will be able to hack the system and our database. So we have to take major security in that purpose as well. Of course, then comes a broadcasting. Then for that, what matters is network topology, projection matrix we have. So what, how big are these screens? We have to go with that. Number of users, operators. So basically, this is the design how we generally go with. So the cameras are connected over a network to a NVR, which is a network video recorder, which is then connected to a command center, which can be locally or remotely. Then it can be connected over internet and can be viewed over a mobile. There are a lot of now there are apps for a video management system, apps which are over the phone and on the laptop as well. So coming to the topology now, nowadays it is not only a wired structure, but we can now, the latest technology is wireless technology as well. So we can connect cameras over a wireless bridges. So we can cover a large network, large area in just a wireless, through a wireless technology, through a wireless bridging. So this is how wireless wired technology works. So it is connected over a fiber optics network cable, and the other is through a wireless bridging. So now latest technology is all artificial intelligence and Internet of Things. So basically, we basically urge our clients to now upgrade their systems to AI-based analytical systems. So basically what it does is, it is a smart analytics to assist manual surveillance, which can now easily can recognize faces of faces. It can recognize if you feed the systems with name of the particular person, so it can track the person in entire facility, wherever he goes, wherever he comes, what time he comes in. So it reduces dependency on other systems like access control systems or attendance system. So it will be all this will be tracked in your just CCTV system itself. So then of course vehicle number tracking, so number plate tracking systems we can implement in this. Then event, if in case of any intrusion or line crossing in particular areas, so that can be recorded through our security system, CCTV system itself. Then of course on manual basis and manual dependency, it is reduced at a very largely. So any elimination of multiple systems. So we don't have to implement any of the system like intrusion systems or electric fencing or watchtower. All this will be taken care by just a one system, that is a CCTV surveillance system. So instead of all these multiple systems, only one system will take care of all these systems. And it is of course it has a efficient data collection, and it is a self learning system. So it has its own behavioral pattern learning. So basically it is like a human brain. So it learns according to the things happening in the environment. So this is how the timeline basically goes with. So we have to start with the basic structured cabling and electricals, which goes like this. So these are our standard work method. Then we start with the civil carpentry and fabrication works, then IT and infrastructure installation, and then comes a non-IT installation. So basically this total project was completed in 2 months of time frame by us. These are basically execution time frame, how we go ahead with. So basically it starts with the supply of material, then installation, then training, and then performance and maintenance of the systems. So this is how we manage the projects. These are the bigger projects. Any question or answer till now?
Yeah, anyone with any questions?
Anurag?
Yes. Yes, Mo.
How many people working in your company? There must be a lot of people, no?
Yes, sir. So we have basically we hire contractors. So we have a team of 10 as of now, in-house team, and of course according to the project wise we hire temporary staffing we do. So there are a lot of technical and non-technical staff which we require. Accordingly we hire them. Yes. Can I go on to
important service?
Yes. Can I go on to a next presentation?
Yeah, please.
Okay. So now in times of, is it able to?
Yeah, we can see this.
Now in times of Corona, so in COVID-19, now we have introduced this Forest solution for the prevention of COVID-19, which is add-on services to our core services. So basically now we are all facing this coronavirus pandemic. So only now measures to control this spread is social distancing, vigorous screening and testing. So now we have taken a step to have this prevention of the spread using our modern age technology, using electronic security systems and artificial intelligence systems. So basically we have named it as 4S. So 4S stands for screening and access control, sanitation and protection, surveillance and AI analytics, and then service and maintenance. So first, screening and screening and access control, there are various solutions we have. So firstly are the thermal imaging camera systems. So these camera systems can detect a fever or high body temperature detection. This can be detected in a real time, and this will be useful in detecting any person who is having a high body temperature or a fever. We can immediately track them, and then that action can be taken. Then we have terminals which are like basically access control and attendance terminals, which are integrated with temperature sensors. So basically these are all touchless terminals. Nowadays basically corona is spread through touching is what we know. So we have now new terminals which are touchless terminals. So this works on a facial recognition. So these are AI enabled face temperature and mask recognition. So even if a person is not wearing a mask, it will not allow the access to that particular person. So all these AI analytics we can integrate in that system. So we have handheld thermal detection terminals. So we have infrared temperature detection terminals and thermographic temperature detection terminals. Basically, this can be used by any of security personnel in the area. Then we have metal doors integrated with temperature screening along with the turnstiles and barriers. Now these are all integrated with AI-based face and temperature recognition. In case of any person who is having abnormal symptoms, so that can be denied access to a particular area. So this is very useful for any of the commercial areas or residential areas. So beforehand only we can stop the spread to a larger communities by just restricting the access. So of course, this all our terminals are rapid and high accuracy screening and access. So they can in a minute's time they can screen up to around 20 to 30% in a minute. So this is a very fast screening. So we don't have to wait. So immediately as soon as a person enters, it scans and gives you a report immediately. Then comes the sanitation and protection. So basically these are the disinfection sanitation tunnels which we are offering. So there are different types of tunnels. There are like spray type tunnels which basically sprays a chemical agent. Then there are UV light type. Basically people are reluctant to have that chemical agent type. So where we are offering a UVC based light based terminals. Then there are touchless dispensers and humidifiers. Basically touchless dispenser dispenses disinfectants without touching any of them. Humidifiers basically are for indoor sanitation, so they remove any of the airborne viruses or bacteria in the area. Then spraying and cleaning systems, we have automated spray tanks for sanitation of larger areas like industries and factories. Then industrial vacuum and surface cleaners to remove any of the surface based viruses or bacteria. Then protection gear we are offering. There are a lot of PPE kits, N95 masks, face shields. Then there are isolators which can be used and foldable stretchers to take the serious patients to the hospital. So isolators are basically used for to isolate a patient from direct handling of them. So then comes surveillance and AI analytics. Basically, we have AI-based CCTV system which are integrated with AI-based facial recognition and vehicle number recognition. So basically, now we have recently seen that BMC have started a vaccination center, a drive-in vaccination center. There, this vehicle number plate recognition system really is very useful. Where if you have registered particular vehicle number, so as soon as the vehicle enters, it will recognize that this number is already being registered under this patient name, and here the management of people will becomes very easy, and this will be more of useful for such drives which are being now implemented. Then comes the intrusion protection and public address in case of any of the detection of if there is a gathering of people more than 5, like we have seen. So in case of lockdown, if more than 5 people are coming, so there is automatic public address systems which we have, which automatically gives a public address, like it makes an announcement that kindly evacuate the area, or this area is being, there are a lot of people which are gathered in the area. So all these public address systems are useful for all this protection of in that area. So comes the CCTV control rooms and CMS systems. Now, as you know, the now smart city systems are being utilized for all these functions. So multi-location centralized monitoring systems like CMS, like I had presented earlier, like command center control room, like now Mumbai City Surveillance command control room is playing a crucial role in nowadays of COVID-19. So everything being tracked down and monitored through that command center. So we have video walls, FTP server, video analytics, all these systems are being integrated in these control rooms. Then comes the drone surveillance. We also offer a drone surveillance. So there are long-range surveillance drones which transmit a real-time data over a Wi-Fi and 4G basically. So we don't have to even have a network now. So through a 4G network, it can be directly accessed at a user, which can be remotely be sitting. So this is useful for monitoring of residential complexes where there are lot of movement of people are there. Then comes the service and maintenance. Here we are offering screening services. So we have our professionally trained fewer scanners we can offer. Accurate and high efficiency work and data collection we can do. Sanitation and housekeeping services we offer. So we are offering professional sanitation and housekeeping services. Then remote and on-site monitoring services we are offering. So if nobody, if there are no on-site professionals to have to do the remote monitoring, so we have our trained professionals which can do the remote, which can have which are experts in the monitoring and surveillance, and they will be recording and they can record all the incident detection, broadcasting, and how the recording support we can also give, and maintenance and services which we are providing. So professional technical services we have quick response over our CRM software. So we have our own CRM through which we immediately respond to any of the breakdowns and any services required. So that's it from my end. Thank you very much for listening patiently. I'm open to any questions and answers. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Anuraj. Does anyone have any questions for Anuraj?
Who avails these 4S?
Basically, this is for any of the industry, like any of the sectors. Like it can be for residential, commercial, any factories also. So wherever there is a, now it is required everywhere because screenings are required everywhere. So so basically we can offer it everywhere.
Anuraj.
Yes.
Yes, Kanan sir, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to know, Anuraj, do all these things only in Bombay, or you are doing it elsewhere also?
Yes, sir. We are offering it pan-India basis. So we basically majorly do servicing in. We provide our services in Bombay, Pune, Gujarat. We are offering. Then Goa also we are offering.
Okay, Goa and all. When you offer, you are subcontracting it to somebody, or you yourself are doing it?
Basically, if the it depends on the contract, sir. If it is a bigger contract, then we of course do it ourselves. Yes. But we have a team which travels so across pan India, so we can do it, no problem.
Yeah, Anuraj, you said, yeah.
No, Mangesh, go ahead.
Yeah. Anuraj, you in your presentation we had seen two of major clients, which one is the government, police department, and one is I think so Thane Jilla Parishad also.
Yes.
So how was your experience in securing the timely payment? Because as a professional we have a not so good experience.
Yes, I know, sir.
We are also working with one of the state government department. It's a security guard board. So just share your experience on securing the timely payment from the government department.
Yes, sir. It is a very tedious work to do. As you know, sir, like there are a lot of payment, like payments is not on time, so it is always in a part-wise manner. We have to pay to them like level-wise. There are a lot of corruption is also offering. So, but of course we have to manage all that. So. So it depends on your connections in these departments. So accordingly, but of course it takes time. The minimum 6 months, of course, is what we keep it in our mind. So to get the payments.
But your because of that, your rates to government would be, because of the recovery and all, it would be different, or it will be more inflated compared to a private sector.
No, sir. It is almost now equal, basically. So now we cannot go because there are standard market prices, so we cannot go beyond that. So considering that, also we have to then manage it. Yes.
Tough job.
Yes, sir. So we also do importing of a lot of systems. So we directly import it from China, like that also. So there we have good margins in the in that.
Because in our society also we have done it through one or two worldwide automation or something like that. So
Okay.
he does the boom barriers, but in your case, I think you are doing. And for CCTV, we have another person.
Okay.
Or this one, this door phone, which is
Right.
a door phone, that we have got a separate. So I think
okay.
you are giving all these three.
Yes.
together.
Yes, sir. All we give. So
So in the event of anything, if I want to seek a quotation or anything like that, you can do all these three things together.
yes, sir. We can do that. Sure.
And even if it is not installed by you, you will be able to do that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. If it is a standard make, so which is now for which the spare parts are easily available, then we can do it. Not a problem.
Great.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
So,
yeah.
Thanks, Anuraj. Thanks, Somo. I would kindly request our member Sunil Golani to present the vote of thanks. Yes, Sunil.
Thank you, Rahul, and good afternoon, everyone. It was
afternoon.
wonderful listening to Sumo and Anuraj, and thank you for the beautiful presentation on both your enterprises. Let me start with Anuraj. Sumo, if I have your permission, because security comes before premiumization, I would say. So, Anuraj, a very, very simple but well articulated presentation in which you talked about the services you offer, the products you have, and as I see that you already got one order from Kannan. Quotation is 50% order, right, Kannan? And I'm waiting to do my presentation sometime so that I get another one from Kannan. So I was really impressed, Anuraj, the range of services and products that you provide. And as Kannan was talking about, that they had to deal with 3 different companies for 3 different products in their society.
Yes.
I see that you not only have those 3, but many more.
Yes, sir.
And especially your services in Corona times 4S is really very helpful for a lot of organizations and societies. So I'm sure some of the services that you have, a lot of us in our professional or personal needs can use. And as now that you're a tenor, you have all of us support. It was a very, very interesting presentation to look at, though a bit technical for someone like you, who is a very, very non-technical person, but you simplified it so beautifully that those terms were very, very easily understood. Thank you very much, Anuraj, for that.
Thank you, Sunil.
Well, Sumo, while I was listening to you, I was reminded of one of my senior colleagues when I was in my last job at Atco Industries. Samuel Abraham was his name. And he would always say that never, ever undersell yourself. And I think what you're talking about in brand premiumization is more or less similar thing. It's a pleasure to propose a vote of thanks to someone who comes from the same fraternity, media planning first and then client servicing. So we have a lot in common. We must catch up soon. As you were rightly talking about that, the moment you focus on price, it becomes difficult to sell. And as we say in consultative selling, the focus has to be on value that you provide to a customer rather than the price that the customer is paying. And if you're able to convert your service into the value that a customer gets, charging a premium sometimes becomes easier than otherwise. And of course, you went through a very interesting process, including 17 tips that you shared with us. I particularly enjoyed the elevator pitch, something that I've been talking about, and I was only hoping and praying that you don't expect my vote of thanks in an elevator pitch format in 30 seconds flat. So thank you very much, Sumo, for sharing the insight, of giving us an insight into this. Thanks, Anuraj and Sumo, both of you, for wonderful presentations. And thanks, Rahul, for the opportunity to do this. Thank you.
Thank you, Sunil, for obliging us with your wonderful vote of thanks.
Pleasure.
Friends, so Mangesh, should I do the concluding remarks now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, friends,
Rahul, we will end this session officially, but as we discussed at the start of the meeting, we have a request from Suno. Rahul will sing a song for us.
वैसा ज़्यादा सब भूल जाएंगे तो अच्छा मैं घाई कर रहा था फटाफट. Okay, I'll sing the song. It's of Kishore. I had sung it for the Rotal finals, where I was awarded the best emerging male talent for that. So I'll begin with that first. It's from the film Joshile, Kiska Rasta Dekhe. किसका रास्ता देखे है दिल सौदाई मीलों है खामोशी, बरसों है तन्हाई, भूली दुनिया कभी की तुझे भी मुझे भी, फिर क्यों आग भर आई, हो किसका रास्ता देखे, ए दिल है सौदाई. Thank you.
One guy
Hello.
was sleeping all through, listening to everything but sleeping.
Acha, who was
The
that?
moment Rahul started singing, he woke up.
Is Rajiv, if I'm not mistaken.
What is his name?
Ludo, no?
Laddu.
Laddu.
He woke up immediately the moment Rahul started.
Thank you so much, friends.
Rahul Rajiv, unfortunately, still sleeping.
Acha, he's still sleeping, so even I couldn't wake him up. My God.
Hey Mangesh, कुछ भी बोल मत.
Thank you, Rahul.
Rajiv was fast asleep when Rahul was sleeping, but the moment Mangesh spoke, Rajiv got up.
Yeah, true. Mangesh knows when to wake me up.
Sunil, I am doing that from last 22 years.
Wow.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Yeah, Anuraj, I'll also get back to you from our Ratnagiri farms regarding the security issue. Okay?
Yeah.
Sure,
Yeah,
Rahul.
thank you very much. So
Thank you,
friends,
friends.
I'll make the concluding remarks now and
Yeah.
we'll end the meeting. So friends, what you saw today is what 10 members share every week. Positive energy, knowledge about what's happening in the industry, support to any operational problem that is beyond our domain expertise, an opportunity to learn from and mentor fellow entrepreneurs. An added benefit is a chance to attract a lot of more business. So who should join 10 and why? Budding established entrepreneurs are welcome to join 10. 10 is committed to support, promote, and develop entrepreneurs, and our activities are focused on building the entrepreneur community. So please take a call of becoming a part of 10. Annual membership is rupees 15,000 and one-time registration fee of 2,000. So thank you all for attending and making such a positive contribution. Thanks once again to Suman, Anuraj, and Sunil for their contribution. Thank you very much. So I end the meeting and have a good day. Stay home, stay safe.
Yeah, and just to add one thing, then
Yeah.
we'll meet again on 22nd. We have a session with Kevin on that day. We'll be sharing the details accordingly.
Wow. Yes,
Yeah,
we are looking forward to that.
That's interesting.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
all.
you. Have a
Bye.
great day. Bye bye.
Have a great
Bye.
day. Thank you.